Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand starts burning the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't help but smile. I started seeing the chat, and takeaway. I'm gonna put this one up. We're all ready for our daily dose of freedom. That's right, guys. Oh my gosh, thank you all so much for coming back. Who was first in the chat? Hey, Ben was first in the chat tonight. There we go. Everybody's. I mean, come on, we got to get on KC. She's usually first one. Okay, guys, this is gonna be a good show tonight. I truly appreciate it. If we have new folks that come on board, feel free to hit all the free buttons below. The subscribe button, like button, notification bell definitely helps the channel, helps us with the algorithm. This is going to be a good one tonight because, and before we get started, I'm going to play a funny video. But what we're going to talk about, I say tonight, it's only 5 o'clock where I'm at. But Donald Trump finally made a post. Now, it wasn't a direct call out, I would say, but it highlighted Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, the Hodge twins, Owen Schroyer, even a little bit of Alex Jones, where he was basically calling out the people that have turned on him and who are no longer on the Trump train. So it's fascinating. We're going to talk about that as well as some stuff going on in, in New York and in Virginia. I've got to re-hit some of that. We're going to get into what's going on with the riots and all those things. So we've got quite a bit to talk about. I have to play a funny video first. This is what I really wanted to start with because you guys have probably seen it if Candace Owens and all of that stuff is in your feed. This one it was hysterical, made me laugh, so I wanted to share it with you guys.
Candace, let's do a take and just be mindful of the pronunciations. Let's not do anything weird.
I have so many explosive revelations to share with you.
Oh, wait. No, it's revelations. You know what? We can move on.
If you can't compartmentalize.
No, sweetheart, it's compartmentalized. Just take that one more time.
You have to be able to compartmentalize that.
Compartmentalize.
And we have to compartmentalize. Compartmentalize how you feel about somebody personally.
Are you doing this on purpose? Is this a bit? Are you trying to get clicks or something?
Can't compartmentalize. But really, it was about the architecture.
Oh, this is the big one. It's architecture.
You just like the architecture.
Architecture, not architecture.
Love the architecture.
Architecture.
Yeah, no, like he loved the architecture of things.
You really don't know how these words are pronounced? You speak for a living.
Prince Harry abdicates England, causes this whole race kerfluffle.
Oh, no, it's kerfuffle.
You knew a kerfluffle happened.
Kerfuffle.
Because this dress kerfluffle.
Pronounced kerfuffle. Kerfuffle.
Designed quite literally with the intention to mock me and Tucker Carlson. It's always got to be Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens.
It's Candace Owens. It's Candace. Let's cut here. I'm going to go take my life.
Sorry, I had to share that with you guys. Oh, it made me laugh so hard. But it's true. My new favorite X account is Candace Owens trying to read. Oh, it's hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical. Oh, gracious. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the headline. Oh boy, my earpiece is really ringing. Let's talk about the headline for tonight. It's a closing frame. I'm going to play the whole video for you guys, but it says, this is from No Soup for Knowles. It says, even Trump has had enough of Tucker and Candace's nonsense. Let's watch the video. You guys tell me what you think. It was, I don't know who. Well, I do know who did the video, but I can't recall off the top of my head. It's towards the end. It's some meme channel, but it was reposted by Donald Trump on his Truth Social account. Let's take a peek.
Do you remember what it was like when the 2020 election was rigged and stolen? Do you remember all the bullshit stories people told you about how the fraudulent election would be overturned? Do you remember the symbols of tyranny when fences went up around D.C. for Joe Biden's inauguration? Do you remember watching fuel and food prices skyrocket in a matter of months? Do you remember watching our borders being invaded by a virtual army of unidentified criminals? Do you remember watching our nation get systematically destroyed for 4 years by the Joe Biden Autopen administration? Do you remember longing for the days of winning when we had Donald Trump in the White House? Do you remember thinking he was going to die when the bullet aimed at his brain only grazed his ear? Do you remember rejoicing after witnessing the miracle that saved his life? Do you remember celebrating the epic landslide victory in November of 2024? This is what you hoped for. This is what you prayed for. This is what you voted for. So why are you questioning every decision he makes now that he's back in office? God didn't save his life so he could make mistakes. He knows what he's doing. Maybe it's time to shut the f*** up
And here's the...
and let him cook. This has been a public service announcement paid for by the Dilly Meme Team.
So I don't know who the Dilly Meme Team is.
Maybe it's time to
Ooh,
shut
let
the
me
f***
pause
up
that.
and let
Just shut up and let him cook is what it said. And again, posted by the President of the United States. The video included these folks who have been some of his most I guess, they've been against Donald Trump, the most vocal voices. Let's just say that. They've been the most vocal anti-Trumpers. Some of them were anti-Trumpers before and became Trumpers. But nonetheless, it highlighted them. This is a call out. This is his back end way of saying, I hear what you're saying. I see what you're doing, and I'm going to take notice. And it didn't get a ton of traction actually until today, it was interesting to me. I thought this is so, because it was posted a few days ago, several days ago, but it didn't catch on until now. So I'm glad that he, at least for my own peace of mind, I know that Donald Trump realizes who are the individuals that are dividing up the movement that he built, the instigators, the agitators. And this isn't to say criticism is off the table, by the way. We have to be super clear about that. Criticism is most definitely on the table. But in dividing up the entire movement, we're supposed to debate these things, but not say, hey, this is the line in the sand. Let's crush this thing before the midterms. Let's crush this thing before 2028. And that's what they're doing. Now, I don't think Alex Jones, he highlighted Alex Jones in this. I've used Alex Jones for a lot of stuff. I prefer his approach. It's interestingly enough, it's a much more balanced approach than the other folks. The other folks have one thing in common, and that's just IDS. But he finally did it. And, the fact that Tucker Carlson, I've got a couple of videos of him I'm going to play. The fact that Tucker Carlson, we've played Candace Owens ad nauseum on this channel, and I will continue to do so because the things she says are absolutely ludicrous. The things she says are nonsensical, and she's just being confrontational for confrontation's sake. But Tucker Carlson is the one who I feel like is the most, for lack of a better term, skeezy about all of this. And let me see if I've got the right one here. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is him sitting down with Cenk Uygur. And there's several things that can be pulled from his interview with Cenk. Interestingly enough, was just the fact that he had Cenk on, which is fine. A lot of conservatives have. Charlie Kirk has had conversations with Cenk Uygur, but he and Cenk align on a lot of things. And people are saying this is an example of horseshoe theory. So horseshoe theory essentially says that as you move further and further to the poles, you're eventually going to start coming back together again at the other end. Now, I don't know that particularly works with Tucker because Tucker has really kind of revealed himself to be more of a lefty than he is a conservative. He's got some conservative leanings, but when you really get down to the nitty gritty, he talks about, authoritarianism. He talks about it wasn't the caste system. It was the, it just left my mind. But you know what I'm talking about. And he's been praising Sharia law and stumping for Islamic dictatorships and theocracies. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot in common with conservatism when that's what you do, other than the social side of conservatism, which is no LGBT, the transgendering of kids and that sort of thing. That's kind of where we have all found common ground with them, but that's not to say that we should be friendly because the thing that guides their worldview is antithetical to everything that Tucker Carlson says he stands for. And all the things that I stand for and that you guys, I'm sure, stand for. But let's listen to this.
Anyone who's still talking about any of that nonsense, Gaza, Iran, should be called out immediately as someone who just doesn't care about Americans. Good to see you, Jank.
Good to see you, Tuck.
In Gaza.
Iran in Gaza. Iran,
Gaza.
Iran, Gaza. In Gaza. Iran.
In Gaza. In Gaza.
In Gaza. In Iran. In Iran. In Gaza. Iran. Iranians. Gaza. Iranian to Iran. In Gaza. Because we should do something about Iran.
Anyone who's still talking about any of that nonsense, Gaza, Iran, should be called out immediately as someone who just doesn't care about Americans.
Interesting. And this is what it's the time frame is a component of it. So this is from Nathan Livingstone and Milk Bar TV. Definitely go follow him on X. He does some amazing mashups. But this is the interesting part, the proximity. There's an episode where he's saying that anyone talking about it doesn't like America. This is Tucker's shtick. He makes an argument that nobody is making, argues against that in order to, categorize or to basically create false ghosts. He's having arguments with ghosts, people that don't exist. None of us are actually saying the things he says we're saying, but he argues against it, implies that is everybody's view, and the people that follow him believe it. It's incredibly dishonest, but at the same time, he is day to day, he can change his opinion. He can change his stance on things. And that's, weird is a very simple way to put it, but that gives me the grifty vibes. I believe he is. I don't know what his intentions are, other than just to divide up the MAGA movement because he doesn't like Trump, which is, childish. But 80 million or 70 million Americans voted for Donald Trump, and he's fighting him at every single turn. This is them on talking about Venezuelan oil. So Cenk Uygur doesn't align with Donald Trump Cenk Uygur doesn't, but Tucker Carlson doesn't align with Donald Trump on much at all. Let's be perfectly honest. Here's them talking about the Venezuelan oil.
Is for the administration to negotiate the oil contracts and for the money to go to the administration and then to be doled out to the Treasury and then the companies. That's the stated plan. I happened to be there the other day when they were talking about it.
So is the plan to take a percentage of the Venezuelan oil and just give it to America?
Yes. That
is unprecedented.
That's the stated plan. I'm not an expert. I'm not, an energy person. I'm interested, but I'm not an expert. I don't speak Spanish. There's a lot of ignorance. And of course I can't see the future. But yes, that's the stated plan. That's what Trump said I was having lunch with Trump and he's like, oh, come to the oil meeting. And I don't, it's not my world. So I was like, okay. So I go up there and all these heads of the big oil companies, including Exxon, they didn't seem too enthusiastic about it, but we'll see. And I just happened to be sitting in the room totally by accident. Literally by accident because he's asked me to come. And he's telling him, no. This is for our country and you'll get a cut that I will decide. I can just tell you what I saw.
So that's not how it should work, right? Because when you say to a different country, we're going to come and we're going to take your natural resources and we're just going to take a certain amount for us, period. Sad day for you. What'll happen is an insurgency. People will be mad about that.
Well, that's the concern. And the other point that he made, again, I don't know where this is going. I am literally praying for stability in Venezuela and around the world. I hate the chaos. And Israel unleashes so much. We unleash so much. It's just the worst thing that we do. But the idea is that they have big time cash shortages. You have to pay the military. You have to pay the government workers. You have to make sure inflation doesn't get out of control. The currency doesn't collapse, et cetera, and that oil profits will go to Venezuela. This is the stated aim. To keep the country from falling apart and to prevent insurgencies, which they're afraid of. Because then, how is that a win?
So I've got my own opinions about I've got fairly strong opinions, I guess, about the Venezuelan oil situation. My understanding, this is what Tucker is saying, is that in the meeting, he was told that this was going to be, or it was implied, that we're going to be taking the oil from them as opposed to purchasing the oil from them. That could be debated. A stop clock can be right twice a day. And this is the kind of the dangerous thing when it comes to these grifters and the just simple agitators, being agitators for agitators' sake. So occasionally they are right about some things. Now, I believe that it should be a purchase, it should be a discounted purchase, but they're implying that the revenue from the oil that Venezuela will have, probably because of the security that the U.S. will be able to provide, since it is in our best interest to do that in this hemisphere, that they're going to be able to keep their government propped up. They're going to be able to keep their society propped up. They're not going to collapse. And Tucker seems to have a problem with all of it. Now, he also says that they're worried about an insurgency. And yeah, that's something you always have to consider when a nation is about to collapse or is on the verge of collapse, which is the end state for nearly every socialist country that's ever existed. They always come to a collapse. They never go the long haul, ever. So I should mention as well, you guys have heard me say numerous times that Tucker Carlson has been stumping, and I said it at the onset of this show, that Tucker has been really stumping hard. He's been stumping hard for Qatar. Bought a house in Qatar. Told them he was buying a house in Qatar. Listen to, you'll never guess who Qatar is housing in their country, in Tucker's favorite stomping ground now. Check this out.
For the record, you have 2 daughters.
This is the head of the Taliban, by the way. One of the heads of Taliban, the Taliban.
Do they go to school?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Of
course they do, because you're in Doha and they can go to school, right?
They are observing hijab. They are observing hijab, and so that means we have not denied.
So
what we
they behave.
We have not denied to our people.
So if they do exactly, if your daughters do exactly what you tell them, they're allowed to get. Okay, so your daughters get an education because wait a minute. Your daughters get an education because they do what you tell them. All right, I'm glad we clarified that. It's just for the.
So it's the same thing. One of the Taliban leaders is raising their family in Doha, just like the Hamas leadership that was hiding out in Doha. And this is the place that Tucker Carlson, these are terrorist organizations that Qatar is, or Qatar, however you want to pronounce it, is perfectly happy to house in their, in their nation, give them safe haven, give them freedom of movement. And Tucker says, this is the example we need to follow. It's no different with Saudi Arabia. Come on. He was ranting and raving about how there's all this religious freedom in Saudi Arabia. And a simple Google search, which I assume, he says he doesn't get on social media. Maybe he should. Maybe Tucker Carlson should get on social media because his level of ignorance could possibly decrease. That's what we're going for here, Mr. Carlson, is a little less ignorance when it comes to real world situations. And he loves to say that, people who have never smelled the place or touched the ground. He thinks that everybody who opposes him is someone who hasn't touched grass, is someone who hasn't been out in the real world. I know that, as I said before, a whole generation of young men and women went to the Middle East. They went to, parts of Asia, namely Afghanistan, Iraq. We went to these parts of the world. We got to live amongst those people. We got to see exactly what it's like living among radical extremists, Islamic extremists. We've touched the grass, and we're the ones whooping and hollering about it. But and this is why I tell everybody who watches my show, these people are not smarter than you. They are not better than you. They are not more knowledgeable. You can have educated idiots. They do exist. Educated, stupid people. I'm going to show you some very, very well-educated people who are blithering idiots, for lack of a better term. I'll show you some of those here in a minute. And just as a reminder, Tucker is finding common ground with, and is Cenk Uygur. So this is Anna Kasparian. This is a video. I was actually going to play it, but I don't think I'm going to. The case that was, because it's a long video. It's like 10 minutes. I'm not going to get into all of that. You can go back and you can find it. Let me pull this down so you can actually find the account. So if you go to Max, it's at Max Nordau. I don't know who Max Nordau is, but anyway, he posted this video, and it was of Cenk Uygur on his show from back before the 2020 election, where he was laughing, very happy about the fact that white Christians in this country had become a minority because he is a globalist. So he's very happy that white Christians are now a minority in America, and that evangelicals, basically slamming evangelical Christians, they're the problem, they're the da-da-da-da-da. I've played the video of the Welch lady. Was it Jennifer Welch? Something Welch on her podcast saying that white evangelical Christians are, they're a cancer on our society and all this. This is the common ground of the left. They hate Christians, in particular evangelical Christians. But that again, this is the person that Tucker says we can find a lot of common ground with this guy. We have moved so far left and right. I don't particularly believe in horseshoe theory. It doesn't seem to make a ton of sense to me, because as I move further and I become more, and as I have over my life, become more and more and more conservative, I'm certainly not finding common ground. Unless you bring some sort of authoritarian factor into it, then I might start finding some way back towards the left. But no, like with this, and it's kind of the purpose, right? The purpose of the left right now, their state, I guess I could say it's not their stated goal, but the goal that they're really pushing is keep us so far divided that we can't find common ground. And they've done that by eroding the moral framework of our country. And they do that through very, very nefarious things like the transgender movement, which I'm hugely outspoken against, and I always will be. But we have victories that say our side can still, push that aside. It doesn't, just because the left has won a little ground doesn't mean we can't take it back. I heard a guy talking the other day, and he said that don't ever let someone tell you that because this is what the devil does, right? The devil will tell you that if you lose this battle, you just have to forfeit the entire war. And I mean all this figuratively because, we're in a battleground of ideas, worldview, of morality with the left. And we get victories every now and then. We got the overturning of the Dobbs decision. It was amazing. Now this detransitioner here has won a medical malpractice suit. This is a win. But the only thing that it's like the Nick Fuentes effect. Nick Fuentes has said that we've got to give, right? The right's going to have to give. I don't like Nick Fuentes. I do not support Nick Fuentes. I'm just saying what he's saying. And this is that same idea as Tucker, that we're going to have to give on a few things like the free market. We're going to have to give on things like, healthcare, universal healthcare, and paying off student debt. Tucker didn't say that. Nick Fuentes does. But this is how far outside the realm of conservatism these people actually are. So I take what they say, honestly, just with a grain of salt. But they're influential, and to the tune of millions upon millions of people in their social media accounts. I'm not really hitting it going into the Hodge twins tonight, but they're much the same. Hey, a couple people in the chat here. Hey, we've got somebody from Kentucky. Boy, you all have been getting some crazy weather. I appreciate everybody in the chat right now. And if you're on and you're new, please be sure to hit all the free buttons because it really helps the channel, helps us with the algorithm, doesn't cost you a penny, and it just helps us grow. I want to welcome all the new folks as well that have come over from Paramount Tactical. I did the show with them a few nights ago. I want to welcome all you guys. I'm definitely happy that you're over here. But yeah, we get people from all over the world. I appreciate all y'all, and I do get to the comments towards the end. That I promise. I will get to comments, and y'all are burning up the chat already. So they can criticize Tucker Carlson. He can do the backhanded way of criticizing Donald Trump, and Candace does the same. They all turned on him. Even in the first year, our hope was getting into the midterms, we would have momentum. We want momentum. Everything that they are pushing on social media is trying to kill that momentum for whatever reason. But Donald Trump, he's still keeping his eyes, I will say, on the prize. I'm happy that he released more of the Epstein documents. It's still not going to be enough if it's not the right things, if it's not the right way, if it's not what they're like, kind of like we got a lot of spoiled children over here on our side who are never satisfied, and they're going to kick and scream, throw a temper tantrum, knock over their glass of milk and boo-hoo about it, scream at the top of their lungs. But he's trying. He's doing some things well. Not 100%, but he's doing a lot well. One of the things has been elections. If we can't win an election if the elections are rigged. We can't win an election if the left is going to continue to play these games of no voter ID, mail-in ballots, all of this nonsense. And Tulsi Gabbard, you heard about Fulton County, so we talked about them going into Fulton County, and now these people, Powell, was it Sidney Powell? I believe was her name. People like that are getting a bit of vindication because they stood until the end saying that there was election fraud. There was a lot of fraud. There was fraud in Georgia. Now Tulsi Gabbard is making a surprise appearance at national state election officials meeting in Washington, D.C., where the state or the secretaries of state are all going to be meeting. And we know that they are obviously a critical component of the election systems in all of these states. Can we say that that's a win? Maybe that's a good thing that we're bringing transparency to this. I'm good with it. I played the video yesterday of the people just absolutely freaking out about it, the people on the left. Because look, the subsect of the left who's always going to vote left, let me rephrase this. We always need to be, as people on the right, we have to have some sort of unity on our end. That's been hard to come by, but we are a big tent. So we're not lemmings, we're not robots like they are on the left. So we have to be able to hash this stuff out and still have a unified movement that's going to vote towards conservatism over on our side. So that's why I highlight the muckrakers and the agitators, because the muckrakers and agitators are the biggest threat I think we have to breaking that up. And I would say you guys agree. But the left, the people in the middle, I'm hoping that a combination of us pitching better ideas, this has always been our play, us pitching our better ideas and highlighting the horrible stuff that's going on, the horrible policy that we're seeing in these Democrat strongholds will maybe swing some people back to our side, similar to what Donald Trump did. And whoever the next presidential candidate, they're going to have to do the same. This is Kathy Hochul. Listen to this. I've got Kathy Hochul. I've got the Spamberger tax plan. I've got California. I'm going to play you 3 videos to explain the importance of why unity on the right is so critical for not just the upcoming elections, but I'm talking for multiple elections, multiple
programs, whether it's the nutrition programs. Half of my budget, or a large percent of my budget is Medicaid. Half of New Yorkers are on Medicaid.
And those are lower income New Yorkers. Do you believe that the wealthy are paying their fair share in New York State?
Well, these are seniors also and children. And so, we've been able to manage, but now Donald Trump takes $3 billion out in 1 year and $750 million last year. So that's what's hard to manage. The incoming from Washington, we budget, we set aside a money. We look at how much is coming and we manage ourselves. We've been doing this for years.
Poorly.
And then I've got the Trump administration just yanking the money that had always been there. And it's supported by the federal tax dollars that these wealthy people are also sending to Washington that should be coming back to us. So
did you catch the first part of that? Half of New Yorkers are on Medicaid. Half. Why is that? Why? Because, is unemployment that bad? It's not that bad. Because New York is unlivable. New York is ridiculously expensive. The other example that we always go to, you guys know this, but that we have to highlight is California. Listen to what California's doing. As if taking 50% of people's money isn't enough. Take half. Give unto Caesar, right? And they take. Listen to what they're pushing forward now in California.
So the people here protesting against ICE have absolutely no idea that their rights were completely violated yesterday by the California state legislature. In the assembly, the Democrats, by a simple majority vote, voted to advance a potential per-mile tax. Yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's not a rumor. They just tasked a California Transportation Commission to come up with recommendations by 2027 to be able to implement a per-mile tax that would charge you 2 to 9 cents for every single mile that you drive. And you know why that's insane? Because we're talking about families of 2 or maybe even 3 paying an extra of $1,200 to $4,200 every single year just to drive.
They take. And what's Donald Trump's focus? Well, let's see if we can give kids born in America $1,000 invested in the U.S. economy. We're trying to figure out how to put money in people's pockets, and the Democrats are seeing if they can sneak up to you, cut the bottom out of your pocket so that some change falls out on the ground that they can steal from you. They got their hands in your pockets. This is everybody loves Scott Jennings, but he highlighted this. Look, I've played some of the Spamberger policies in Virginia, and it hits close to home. I used to live in Virginia. I have family that live in Virginia. I have a family member who is having somebody look at their house, considering selling it, because a woman runs as a moderate. This is the other piece of it, is that they lie to you, to your face, to the voters, that this woman says, I'm a moderate. We're going to find a way to put money back in your pocket. We're going to find a way to reduce the cost of living. What happens? Listen to Scott Jennings.
Remember what you were told in November when Democrats won governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey? Tomorrow marks 2 full weeks into new Governor Abigail Spangberger's reign in Virginia. How is the affordability agenda progressing over there? Let's listen to Cut 4.
Here's a list of the many tax increases and proposals Democrats in Virginia are considering passing. They include additional local sales tax in all Virginia counties and cities, new personal property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscaping equipment, large employer tax, gun and ammunition tax, new income tax brackets, a delivery tax. This would hit you if you make an order on Amazon, Uber Eats, or an order that includes UPS, FedEx delivery, etc. here in Northern Virginia. There's also a tax they're looking at for events, concerts, an investment income tax, storage facility tax, gym membership tax, dog walking tax, dog grooming tax, counseling tax, digital personal property tax, new car taxes and highway use fees, an increase in the hotel tax here in Arlington, statewide speed cameras. Now, these aren't taxes, but they would include more fines for some drivers, dry cleaning tax, home repair tax, and a vehicle repair tax.
Affordability. If you buy into the narratives, you get what you deserve if you cast those votes.
Elections have consequences. Taxes upon taxes. You know, I played the video yesterday where the lady was talking about her, her electric bill. Was her electric bill or her gas bill went up, whatever it was, went up from $200 a month to $600 a month in these short time spans. It's take. It's not what we're trying to do here. More money in our pockets. That's it. But they've got us fighting with each other. This is it. And the riots, they are spreading. This is part of my frustration too. And I hope I'm making this very clear to everybody is, part of my frustration is that it's the left. We're always fighting with the left. We're always in conflict with the left. Why are we in so much conflict over here on the right? Why? Over what are seemingly insignificant things in most instances. This is in LA. So the riots have now spread from Minneapolis. They've gone to LA. They're in Arizona. They're in Oregon, in Eugene. They're all over the place. So they're destroying kiosks here. We've got them in Arizona. These are students, so the brainwashing of the kids is complete. We've got kids that should be in school, and instead, I don't know if this is. Let me turn that music off so I don't get a copyright infringement. These kids who should be in school, they're coming out saying, "Well, we're going to protest ICE." And instead, it's just an opportunity for them to be wild, rambunctious kids, harass people, throw bottles, be degenerates. The LAFD, there was a fire. The LAFD couldn't even get to the fire. So they started a dumpster fire. They stopped the fire department from showing up. Juvenile delinquents, people who should be working, but for some reason, I guess because of the government money, they're not too worried about it. So this is the one. This is happening in LA. Here's the one in Eugene, Oregon. It's like it just ramps up one thing right after the other. Keeps building. And this is whoever this was, Don Keith. He says these are no longer protests; they're enemy combatants. And here's where we get into a boatload of trouble. We get into a boatload of trouble because as violence ramps up, the response from federal officers, we're seeing more video of federal officers getting in conflict with people, pulling them over because they're being harassed. That footage is what gets played. And that's what people interpret as some form of fascism, even though it's law enforcement against the very people who the media supports. So they're going to push the false narrative and say that, look, ICE officers pulled a lady over. I was watching the video. She's not cooperative. She's harassing these officers, following them around. That's what they're going to highlight. They're not going to highlight the violence, the kids who are, let out of school. I played the kids in Alabama, kids in New York, kids in California, kids in Arizona, kids all over the country are saying, yeah, I'm going to get on board with this because it's clicks, it's virtue signaling, it's all the things that make them popular today. I think this was, let's see. Oh, yeah, that was the same one that I just played. But the violence is going to keep ramping up, and that's not going to be beneficial going into the midterms. But yeah, I was talking with Gary, and he made Gary over at Paramount Tactical, and he made a really good point that, Insurrection Act. My thought was, and this is where we initially differed, but he kind of won me over on this one, that initially it should be local police, because we saw in Wisconsin that the police weren't doing anything. Federal officers were under siege in Wisconsin. Then as soon as Donald Trump and Tim Walz started having a conversation, we saw law enforcement step in, and we saw things subside a bit. They started to scale things back. We saw the police force coming out with their riot gear and tear gas and helping fight back the vigilantes. And my thought was, let them be involved, local police, let the federal police, or not federal police, but let ICE and CBP, whoever it is, assist in matters of that, whatever. But local police, state police, and then National Guard, which has also been brought in, then let the active duty and all those people come in to really quell it. But his take was, how about, why would we even let it get to that point? And to that, I agree. It's a very good point. Why in the world would we let it go any farther than it's already gone? We are a breath away from a summer of 2020 when buildings are burned to the ground. People are losing generational work and effort in small businesses. Yeah, now's the time. Strong action, get it under control, and then everybody will move on with their lives. Because these people, look, they call us the fascists, but this is up in, this was in Philadelphia. So we heard the sheriff in Philadelphia say that she's going to arrest ICE. That's her call. We're going to go after ICE, actively going after ICE. That we've heard it from other police departments, other sheriff's departments, saying that ICE is the enemy. They're going to prosecute ICE. They're going to treat ICE. We heard So we heard Eric Swalwell say that he's not going to let ICE officers have jobs, or they're going to dox them. This is the type of language that they're not going to be able to be employed in the state if he wins the governorship. But they're wearing armbands. Who's the fascist here? This reporter, here, I can play it.
You have a security clearance to keep you on the fringes of the demonstration today.
Do you have clearance from the police to do that?
No, that is not who we're working with.
What's your name?
I'm not going to give you my name. I'm just letting you know that we are not going to allow you to go into the crowd at all.
I have a right to be over here, so I'm going to exercise my right to move freely, okay?
Okay.
Your security clearance that you don't have from the police does not overstep my rights, right?
Yeah, you're allowed to interview people on the fringes, on the outskirts, on the periphery of the...
You're allowed to. It's a public space, guy. But we're the bad ones, because Donald Trump arrested the people who committed a FACE Act violation. They got it pushed through. It was an obvious violation, and we're fascists. We're anti-First Amendment. You pick one of these places, any of these places where their demonstrators are present, and they restrict your movement. They restrict your They restrict your movement. They restrict your speech. And who's the fascist again? Well, it ain't us. It ain't us. Okay. Let's see. Okay, those are the big topics that I had for tonight. I want to get into the chat because I see you guys making a lot of comments. I want to make sure to get to it. I had one. In fact, I could probably play it. Well, let me play this because it's good. Let's end on a funny note. Let's end on a Senator Kennedy note. How about that? Before I get to the comments, he was talking about Tim Walz. Tim Walz is I'm obviously critical of Tim Walz. I think Tim Walz was an abysmal candidate. My goodness gracious, what in the world? I don't know how to silence my phone. I apologize for that, guys. Let's listen to Senator Kennedy here.
Let me just say a couple of things quickly, Sean. Number one, Governor Tim Walz. Whatever he says, believe the opposite. I'm sorry, the man learned to lie before he learned to talk. He's just a. I can't help it. You crack me up. Well, he's just a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton. Oh man! Oh my gosh! Number two. Did you go drinking?
Oh, that was pretty good. A less masculine version of Hillary Clinton. His best of videos, if you guys haven't watched them, oh my gosh, they're fantastic. This is true. They have weak leaders, but they have unity in their party. They have puppets. This is what most of the politicians elected by the Democrats. You guys know this. They're straight up puppets. They are locked into that party line, and they do not deviate. They never deviate. It's really crazy. I was going to play another clip of Sunny Hostin talking about the court documents that were stolen. She said, can you imagine the government is going to have, they took the Fulton County records and the government's now going to have your social security number. And I was like, lady, do you even know where social security numbers come from? Good gracious. Okay, let me get to comments here. Let's see, Jared, sorry I missed the show yesterday. No, it's all good, man. Ben, I saw that one. Let's see. Okay, cue music. Here we go. Wow, lots of comments. Must have blinders on. I didn't realize how much. Let's see. Oh, so many. Here comes the. Let's see. I do watch them here and there, and I get a kick out of them. Yeah. The Candace train, I mean, oh boy, it's this is the thing, I say it over and over again, so my regular watchers, they're probably tired of hearing me say it, but the narrative that she uses of building, she went from just asking questions to into the conspiracies, from the conspiracies into the true crime narrative, which is how she built this whole thing. And then the true crime narrative had to go somewhere else. And now we're into sci-fi. It's really gotten wild. It's really, really wild. And most of the true crime sci-fi, the storytelling type shows, they have there's a crescendo, there's an accent, and then it's like the last episode of The Sopranos. If you haven't seen that, spoiler, but nothing. And everybody's ticked off. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's just banking money to go and sit on her duff for the rest of her life. I don't know. Let's see. Neoconservative. No, I don't want America. Oh, boy. Okay. Great. Gaza, super important to our Israel. I was just curious, Jerry, a few days ago. Oh, yeah. Andrew Wilson, you guys were talking about Andrew Wilson. He was on JRE. He was on Joe Rogan a few days ago. I haven't watched it yet, so I'd be interested to know if you guys think it was worthwhile. Let's see. Oh. I did Google AI Maduro, and it's really. We've got one of the guys, this is funny. It always cracks me up. The people who just have IDS, who have Israel derangement syndrome. It's really wild. They get into the chat and I do find it funny. Grave Walker is, let's see. See, here's the thing. I'm not going to put up the comment, but it says, the guy calls me a blithering idiot and says, putting America first, not Israel first. Who is making that argument to put Israel first? This is the thing. This is the reshaping. Same thing the left does. They reshape the narrative into what they want to argue against, as opposed to what reality is. I've never heard someone say that is, anyone of significance be an Israel first person, no American citizen. I haven't heard it, and I follow this stuff all the time. But giving any support for Israel is, whether you, even if you say like my position, which has been, yeah, we should, it's not beneficial for Israel to get our money, even though it's it's $3.8 billion. It gets siphoned back. 75% of it gets siphoned back into the military industrial complex for them to buy weapons. It is essentially a gift, but it's a gift that, that goes back into U.S. companies. I still don't like that, but whether that's good, bad, indifferent, whatever, however you feel about it, it's not good for them long term. So, because they're losing the PR campaign in all of this. But people say that it's anybody on the right who has anything positive to say. If you don't think that Israel is the blood drinking sycophants that Candace Owens says they are, that it's just a country of demons, as she would have you believe, then you're Israel first. And it's just so disingenuous and it's so stupid. The internet not being able to handle nuance is one of our biggest problems, I believe. There has to be nuance, and the internet loathes nuance. And Candace Owens hates nuance. Tucker Carlson hates nuance. That's it. So they make up the arguments, and I just get frustrated by it. So that's why I don't talk about it a ton, I'll be honest. Yes, I think some communists were sowing chaos in Afghanistan where they were taken by the Taliban. They were trying to be made in our country. Yeah, I would find it interesting. Over in Afghanistan, you probably know this, Eric, because I know you served as well. But the people who got the Dave Smiths of the world say that we go into these countries and we take their oil and we take their resources. Do you know who got the resources in Afghanistan? It was China. Got the resources in Afghanistan. All the minerals in Afghanistan, they went to China. Did we get any of the oil from Iraq? No, we didn't. So I've yet to see someone give me evidence of us actually getting resources from these places, because that's the argument they're making, is we're these marauders out here pillaging countries for their resources. The first time that we ever said we were going to do it was with Donald Trump saying he's going to do it with Greenland, and then Donald Trump saying he's going to do it with Venezuela. We still don't know what that deal is going to be. He says he's going to take it. However, just like Greenland or any of the other deals that he's been making, he goes for the big ask, and then there's a settlement that works out for everybody. It's the thing he wanted to begin with. And I don't know why people still can't track this. This is what he does. It's just like it's negotiation. You start high, you find your way to the middle. And when he says it, that this is what we're going to do, people say, he's a dictator, he's a tyrant, he's a this, he's a that. It's like, guys, this is just Trump 101. This is what he does. Let it play out, So, let's see. Oh, and then, oh boy, and they always have to stand up for Islam. That's so interesting. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming over. Good to have you guys over on Gary's show, Paramount Tactical. If you're on and you're not subscribed to Paramount Tactical, go follow him on all the channels. He does really great work. And he gets some amazing guests on. He had Andrea Burkhardt on, and they were talking about the legalese around stuff, and it was so detailed. It was really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Glad to see so many people in the chat. Let's keep it going. This is awesome. Yeah, heck yeah, it is. Ben's been he's been with this channel for a while, and he's been a great supporter. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your support, Ben, and everybody. Eric's been coming back. Future is back. Yeah, we've got. I see the names, and I just expect people. I get a little sad when I pop on and don't see your names, because we're still a small channel. You know how it is. But we are growing. We've been growing quite a bit lately, which is good because I'm out of YouTube jail. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That's usually what I do. That person, when it's folks like that, I'm here to have actual conversations. A lot of the trolls, they just bomb your comments with stuff. I let it roll off my back, especially when they say things about me. I get so many because I won't take the hardline stance that they do on, whatever they if you don't agree with them, then they're just going to drop $7,000 posts. They say $7,000, $7,000. It's like, come on, guy. That's just it. We're adults here. We have adult conversations. So I appreciate all the adults down here, you guys that keep coming back, because we have actual conversations. We ask actual questions. Let's see. Hey, Niles. Niles is another one. Keep coming back, man. I appreciate you. Oh, DC. So look, as it goes in California, as it goes in New York, it just makes its way down. I look at Canada too, honestly, because that place is a test bed for a lot of these crappy policies. So when Canada does stuff, I've been really focused on this medical assistance in dying. It's really doctor-assisted death, doctor-assisted suicide or murder, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, it's going on up there. It's actually I believe, I don't want to misquote where it is, but the medical assistance in dying in Canada is, I think, the number 5. It's in the top 10 in the leading causes of death. And it's coming here because socialized health systems that can't meet the demand, because with healthcare, with anything, you can have affordability, availability, and quality. You've got those 3 criteria. You can pick 2 of those 3, any 2 of the 3, and they've got availability and technically affordability. I'm sorry, they've got availability and affordability, but the quality is bad. Now, when it gets into serious surgeries, they don't have the availability, so they're giving the option. Canada doesn't just have the option for medical assistance in dying for terminal illnesses. They have it for depression, for mental health problems, things that are curable. And that's the sort of thing. And I believe Oregon, I would have to remember which U.S. cities have it. But as it goes in Canada, it's going to find its way down here. It's just how it is. And that's what we have to, these are massive moral dilemmas that our country has, that we will be facing. And that a lot of, the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine is one that is fighting back against this. It's kind of a coalition of coalitions and of associations that's got, evangelical, it's got Protestant, Catholic, secular organizations. It's got, everybody's coming together to try to fight back against, just pro-life organizations, fight back against some of this bad legislation when it comes to life and death. And it used to be hyperbole to say that legislation is life and death. When you start getting involved in the health system, it absolutely is. Like it's a life and death situation. We're splinting and sort of exploding. Yeah, there you go. That's what we're happening over on the left. I just didn't expect honestly, it's the fact that it's happened so fast. That's what blows my mind. It's happening so fast. Yeah, okay, I know who you were talking about. That's the one I was addressing, and I let him go. They eventually just wear themselves out. That's kind of like a kid having a temper tantrum in the chat. When the trolls get in there, they just get tired and they quit. He might still be in here. I don't know. These riots are controlled and very organized with us. Yeah, it is. Oh, 100%. And now I haven't looked at all the stats, and maybe you guys could tell me. Somebody had said it, and I've been trying to find the comment. Maybe it might have been somebody like Glenn Beck or something that had said it, that it's trackable around certain districts. So I don't know. I need to look into that. That it was intentionally, these riots are intentionally taking place in areas that are, I don't know if it was conservative or whatever, but anyway, I'd heard that. Don't quote me on it, but I need to look into it more. That it's strategic with where they're actually holding most of the riots and disruptions. Let's see. It's like these leftists are intending to force an authoritarian. I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. They want the footage, right? The mainstream media, their footage is gonna go right along with. They collect the footage of ICE doing their job or ICE protecting themselves from a bunch of rambunctious lunatics. And that's the stuff they play on a loop. It hypes up their people who are overly emotional to begin with. So No, I don't think they can. I think it's just a threat, but it's I hate the term, but it's really a kind of an effective term is dog whistle. That it's kind of a dog whistle for the people to say, for the sheriff up there in Philadelphia to say, these people, if they do one of these shootings, we're taking them into custody. They can't hide behind this. They can't hide behind that. It's kind of a dog whistle to say, hey, law enforcement is on your side and we're going to go after them. So I think people feel emboldened to go and act just because they have elected officials. We've seen mayors and governors and congressmen and women all saying the same thing. We heard Cory Booker just the other day said that Kristi Noem needs to be put on ice. Come on, seriously? Like what? What is one to think, right? We know we know what they're implying with that. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, that's Senator Kennedy. The guy is hilarious. If you're coming in right now and you didn't see that part, I highly recommend you go back to the Senator Kennedy piece. It was hysterical. Tim Walz is like a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton, he says. Oh. I'm a legal immigrant from Brazil. I'm a Christian conservative. I live in USA. It will be 10 years in June. I'll apply for citizenship. How do I help America to do? How do you think I can help? I am a legal immigrant. I'm a Christian conservative. I live in the USA. It will be 10 years in June. How do you think I can help America be better? Talk about doing things the legal way, because I know it's difficult and it's hard. But my take on immigration is that, people who do it the right way, it's supposed to be difficult. I want it to be difficult. I don't want it to be easy because you have the buy-in and you're asking the right question. How can I help America to be better? Most people aren't, a lot of the illegal immigrants that come here, they don't ask that question. They say, what can I get from America? It's kind of like Kennedy said back in the day, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And, a lot of them are saying, what's the country got for me? They come here with some sense of entitlement because the leftists, the activists, the people that are helping them once they get into this country and setting them up with EBT cards and setting them up with all the freebies that come with, that they sift out to them or they hand out to them, they start to feel a sense of entitlement. So yeah, that the fact that it was hard and painful and difficult to get legal citizenship, but you did it the right way, and that's worth it because you have buy-in to the country. If more people understood that, that would help, at least help us reframe the thing. Infoy 50. So congratulations, by the way. If I read that right, you're going to be a citizen sometime soon. Infoy 100. I hear you. I can't take it. It's she's so frustrating. You have to give a longer break after saying spoiler and actually telling this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Future, I apologize. Oh, sometimes in my mind it was a long time. I waited a long time before I said spoiler and then gave the spoiler. My apologies if I ruined the end of that series. But in all honesty, it was like 20 years ago. If you haven't seen it by now, are you really going to watch it? Oh. Yeah. Again, I'm going to have to go back and watch it because I like Andrew Wilson. He's the arguments he makes. Some of them, it's like anybody. You kind of take them. Some people you can take or leave, but I tend to like Andrew Wilson. I like what he's trying to do. I like the arguments he's trying to make. He's definitely a great debater. He's a very well prepared debater. So, one's bringing. Yeah, it wasn't an issue. That's the thing, is it was never an issue. Nobody ever talked about it. Then these anomalies popped up, and it became one of the thing that's dividing the right. Like, it's really weird. you know? And I know people that are like uber pro-Israel. I know people that are completely anti-Israel. And look, there's nuance to it. Like I say, the internet hates nuance to the situation. But I heard somebody, I don't recall who it was, said that the rule is that if you believe everything is a conspiracy theory, then you're low IQ. If you believe nothing is a conspiracy theory, then you're low IQ, right? It's all got nuance. That's basically it. Let's see. Man. Thanks. Ben's reminding everybody. Ben, I get scrolling through here and I forget to remind everybody. So thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, everybody. Do what Ben says. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it already. And I'm coming towards the end of the chat. Let's see. Israel's your first thought when you wake up and your last before sleep. You're not America first, Tucker. Well, and okay, this is an interesting comment here. They, we talk about Israel and yeah, these people, they obsess about it. That's why I call it Israel derangement syndrome. That's really who it is. But, or what it is. It's Israel derangement syndrome. But Tucker will then go and sing the praises of other countries as if they are, with the same, I guess, the same gusto that the people who are, rah, 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 Israel, everything. And yet he's criticizing those people, but he's okay. You know what I mean? It's very hypocritical the way he approaches this, because he'll do the thing where he says, oh, and I'm not stumping for the government of Israel. Of course not. Of course I'm not. I wouldn't do that. And then he goes into a long diatribe about how Qatar is so wonderful and Saudi Arabia is great and you've got religious freedom, even though none of that is true and none of that actually exists. So it's weird. Two giant YouTube kind of. Hey, Canada. We were just talking about you guys. Oh, from Canada. Bless your hearts. Bless your hearts. New here from Jay Witt and found Jay Witt. We have I love finding conservative Christian voice. Hey, there you go. 2 goats and a dog. That's an interesting handle. 2 goats and a dog. Wow. There you go. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. First time tune in. Heard you. There we go. Welcome. Lewis. I don't know how to pronounce that. A Lewis. There you go. A Lewis. That's what it is. Good afternoon. First time tune in. Well, welcome. We are so thankful that you're here. We appreciate it. I appreciate you coming to check in. To that fire, let's see. Ooh, lots of comments. The only... See, I know some crazy we do it. I'm behind too, always, because I find the middle and want to start at the beginning. I set notification. Let's see. Okay, I have come to the end of the comments. Boy, you guys are great. My goodness. Whew, blowing up the chat. It's hard to get through it. And as usual, I'm going to say that I'm sure I missed some and probably some really good ones. I do this. I go back and look after I close the show out and I'm like, dadgummit, why did I not hit that one? That would have been a great point to talk about. So my apologies. I hope I got everybody in here at least once. I even got the troll in here, so that was fun. I hope everybody's staying warm. We got 6 inches of snow here in East Tennessee. I got a lot of scraping to do tomorrow. I'll just let it snow. I'll fix it tomorrow. But guys, if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button, like button, notification bell. It's hugely beneficial to the channel. Check in on us every now and then. I have to tell all my regular viewers, I'm not 100% certain I'm going to be able to post in this next week because I will be traveling for work. So I'm going to hopefully be able to pre-record some stuff. If not, it might be another week before I come back, or next weekend, which would be on Saturday, whatever the day is. So please, 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 it's not going to help me in the algorithm when I do that. So help me by checking in next Saturday once I'm back home, and hopefully I'll have some content thrown up here for you guys, and hopefully the algorithm doesn't punish me too bad. But you got to put that bread on the table, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's see, the last minute check in here to see if I missed anything. Grok tells me Tucker has never interviewed Netanyahu. An old school TV guide for pod. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Now, I think there should be a, maybe I can do this, or maybe one of you smart people out there can do this. Set up a site where you can have a link to all the just conservative podcasters of many different sizes, and people can subscribe to that, and it would just give you a list. And you can, because I find it hard on YouTube. I'm a small channel. I'm growing, but I'm small. And I'm wanting to find other small channels that I can, do some content with and all that. And it's really hard to find the small guys. The big ones are easy to find. I mean, it's super easy. But I don't know. Yeah, directory or something to say, hey, give me some smaller channels, because there's some really good small channels out there. When I first started back in I started recording in 2020, I think it was, but I was only on Locals. I wasn't on Rumble. And, I wasn't on YouTube. I was on Locals, and I did some on Rumble as well. But I thought that was going to be the next thing, and it kind of turned into a bit of a nothing burger. But I started posting on YouTube, and my viewership was relatively quickly started going fairly high, especially around the election. And that was around the election, the 2020 election. And then I went into YouTube jail, or 2024 election. I started getting some viewership, and then I went into YouTube jail because I said something bad that YouTube didn't like. And after that, it was just, I'm talking flatlined. And all of a sudden, back in June, I just kept making content. Back in June, I got out of YouTube jail for whatever reason, and I'm trying to take advantage while I'm out. And hopefully I can avoid being put back in. But you never know what's going to get you banned on YouTube. Ben, let's see. It does make it hard. It's the way to do that on TV. We're watching the chat on phone. Okay, I got you. Oh, wow. So I'm on the big screen with you. There you go. That's pretty legit. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I truly appreciate it. Have a blessed rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday tomorrow. If you're in the weather, stay warm, stay safe. God bless you. God bless America. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.